Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to discuss another My Hero Academia Season 5 episode review, episode 15 this time. I am about, let's see, from what I can tell, let me just click on okay, I appear to be at least, after this I'll be 5 episodes behind, the upcoming 6, given episode 21 is coming out and all that stuff, so I'm just going to try and do this one before tomorrow happens, when the new episode happens, and I'll be out doing some other streaming. So hopefully I'll try and watch a few more episodes, let's see, in the weekend or during next week, so I can catch up again and all that stuff before time runs out and all that stuff, before like season 5 is over, because I want to try and get this season done with before the end and all that stuff. But yeah. But anyway, let's see. My Hero Academia Season 5, episode 15, also episode 103, titled One Thing at a Time. And we start off with Hawks entering a room with a board full of people. They include the members of the League of Villains, you know, Darby, Himiko, Toga, Twice, and Spinner. And let's see, members of the, Meta Liberation Army, as he's come here to give them an update with one of the mysterious men who is actually one of the Meta Liberation Army members. I believe the former leader and all that stuff, but I guess that's spoilers for anime only watchers. Sorry, but then again, this arc is kind of spoiled what's going to happen with the villain arc. But yeah. With him sort of like, they've taken a notice on him passing out the Meta Liberation Army's book, to young heroes and that stuff, with him just complimenting a good job of like using his with him spreading the ideology out to like everyone, including particularly his fan base with teenagers and 20-year-olds, since that's who his demographic fan base is and all that stuff. And you got like Twice saying that he has no idea. What's the ideology of their book? So he asks Hawks to explain it to him, which he says he's fine with. Anyway, it becomes noticed that Deku, that the League notices that, he ended up, giving the book to like Deku, Bakugo, and Shota, with like Toka being excited, oh my god, it's Deku, and Twice saying, really, I didn't know that, and all that stuff. So with Darby saying that it doesn't look like their speed, they've improved all that much since last time and all that stuff. So yeah, let's see, and all that stuff. So it's like it doesn't seem to be much big deal with Hawk saying, giving them false information that the commission has been, about how the commission has been focusing on connecting the League to the Denki Instant, and they started training the next generation and all that stuff. So he gives them somewhat information of what they're planning, but not all the information, all that stuff, and what they're actually doing. But anyway, as Hawks leaves, he leaves a feather behind so he can listen in on all that stuff. And they end up talking about their fun. And you hear the League talking about their 4-month plan of gathering their army to attack, and everything will be destroyed by Tomura and all that stuff. So it's not going into full details, which the manga has, because I remember this is pretty much a scene of like explaining what they do once this place is destroyed and all. Once like Japan is destroyed and all that stuff, but it seems like they're leaving it out because it's like not in the manga and all that stuff. So we have that and all that stuff. So that's interesting and all that. So we got that. But anyway, I believe as Hawks is limited to accessing buildings, he tries to go through one and all that stuff. He's hoping that thinking about how they need to try and round up all the heroes associated with the Meta Liberation Army and the League of Villains. And the new hero and other heroes have trained up their new ones, in time for when the counterattack. And he thinks that, Bakugo, Shoto, and Midoriya, will have caught all those bad guys if he didn't intervene and all that stuff. And at the very least, he's glad he's made Darby at least underestimate them and all that stuff. So there's that. Anyway, after, let's see, Endeavor manages to discover the message of the enemy is the Liberation Army. The number's 100,000 in 4 months to action. Before that, I'll send a signal in case of failure, more manpower and all that stuff. So Endeavor thinks to what the Public Safety Commissioner had asked him to do with training more heroes. He finally understands, and though he doesn't seem to fully agree with it. So he decides that he realizes that he needs to train Midoriya, Bakugo, and Shoto all at once, which we go to them with the sidekicks, where Burning explains that only Endeavor wants to train Shoto, so Midoriya and Bakugo are probably stuck to the sidekicks, much to Bakugo's dismay and all that stuff, as Midoriya tries to calm him down. However, Endeavor reveals that he's actually going to be training them and all that stuff, so yeah, but before that, he ends up asking them each a bit about themselves because he wants to know more about them and all that stuff. Midoriya explains how he wants to increase his quirk and all that stuff, as Endeavor knows that Midoriya has muscles comparable to All Might, but cannot work and damage himself. As Midoriya wants to talk about making him use more of his power, but at the same time, he also wants to explains that he now has Black Whip and all that stuff, and he wants that to be trained as much as that as well, and use it as an actual whip and all that stuff. I'm not telling the full details about behind the nature of it, but he goes on a long ramble of wanting to go back and forth between the Air Force attack he has and the Black Whip, with Burning having no idea what Midoriya is saying. However, Endeavor, for the first time ever, fully listens to Midoriya's rambles and understands that he wants to go back and forth between, is able to understand, Midoriya wants to go back and forth and using the power and all that stuff, with Burning comments about, my God, you can actually understand that? You're number one for for a reason and all that stuff. So yeah. With Bakugo saying that he wants to learn he wants to surpass number one hero, and he came here to learn what he can't do and all that stuff. So with his explosions. So we got that. So Endeavor is just about to go and take them away, but Sho take him on, patrol and all that stuff. However, Shoto ends up saying what he wants to say when Endeavor thought he just only came here to learn Hellfly. He talks about how, about his experiences, about the training his father did, how he treated him and all that stuff. His own resentment, but after, hanging out with his students and remembering why he admired All Might so much, he ends up, talking about how he's come here, he's sort of put that, why he's not forgiving Endeavor and all that stuff. He's came here to better improve himself, with Endeavor realizing that just because Shoto's come here, he doesn't mean he's fully embraced him as a father and all that stuff. As Shoto's come here as a fledgling hero, wants to learn how to be a worthy hero, not as his son and all that stuff. So as Endeavor recalls what Shoto and all that said. So now, in many ways, he begins to take the three out to a mission. Sorry for the background noise. I think my neighbors are doing some house repairs. Anyway, we end up learning that hero agencies from Endeavor, that they do 3 operations: rescue, evacuation, and fighting. Was one either doing one or the other. However, he does all 3 and tries to explain them about what he does in the city and all that stuff, how he's able to detect and fire and keep citizens away. And their whole assignment for this mission is to try and catch up to a villain before he does and all that stuff. So he gets a notification from his earpiece and springs into action with our trio going in pursuit. Sorry again for the banging noise and all that stuff. So there we go. He's chasing a guy on a motorcycle, and he eventually catches him. As they notice how he's using his flames to it's accelerating speed and not slowing down and all that stuff, with Bakugo and Shoto realizing that they can do that with their explosions and their fire and all that stuff, as Endeavor explains their strengths and weaknesses. and then goes on to end up saving like a vehicle by accident. A vehicle that was about to hit someone by accident and all that stuff. With Bakugo, end up making how due to winter he can't proceed with his quirk as fast as he can because of the sweat and all that stuff. And tells him not to do that. Use that as an excuse. As he does mention how schoolwork is different from like hero work, on the job experience. So he tells Bakugo. So So he ends up So he ends up giving him more instructions on what to do, like learning everything at school and apply it to real life experiences and all that stuff. Telling them to try and do two things at once and explaining it, and sort of like how a person who learned to drive doesn't drive straight away and all that stuff, all that kind of thing. The episode ends with how much he's grown and gained thanks to All Might's teaching and how much he's got to learn. And during this time, we kind of see all the other heroes at their work studies with Uraraka and Tsuyu back with the number 10 hero now, the Dragon Lady. Ida with Manuel, the guy who was with the Stain Arc. Red Riot with Tetsu with Fat Gum and all that stuff, and Mineta with like Mount Lady and all that stuff. Momo with like this wizard guy, all that stuff. It's hard to remember all the heroes' names, but they're here with all the heroes. With like you get a mix of Class A and Class B, working under some heroes, some of which they worked with previously, and some that seem to be entirely new and all that stuff. And we even see cameos of some of the other school heroes from like the provisional license exam, like that Quake dude was group of one, and that sort of military uniform school with the one with the wind guy. I can't remember the name and all that stuff, but there we go. So we see that everyone's training and all that stuff, and yeah, that's about the end of the episode. First off, from what I can tell, the Metal Liberation Army is clearly keeping the Chillerette because they're not being properly introduced yet, so they're trying to keep them ambiguous and that stuff, but not the League of Villains, so because everyone knows who they are. And from what I can tell, they've added quite a few filler bits into this. With like them notes, I think, but I need to reread the manga to check, though. I don't recall Toga and Twice commenting on Deku being there and all that stuff, but there's stuff like that, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I do like Ritzy. At the moment, it seems that at the very least, Hawks has managed to infiltrate the League and the Metal Liberation Army quite effectively, as they don't realize that he's giving out the books as like decoded messages rather than just spreading the ideology and all that stuff. So he's kept that going. And I do like the funny moment with Twice saying like, I have no idea what this book is. Can you teach me how? And Hawks is like, sure, man, I will teach you that stuff. Sort of building up what's going to happen to them. I assume that's going to next season, which I'm not going to spoil and all that stuff. But yeah, we get a bit of groundwork for that. And we learned in 4 months' time, the League of Villains is like planning an attack, though I think the messaging from the book yesterday was going, from the last episode. Decoded Book did mention that. At 4 months' time, 100,000 members, attack, plan of action, manpower. Endeavor gets the message, and we get sorry about the banging. We get a sort of like, I think an anime clip of her, the commission asking Endeavor to train more heroes, and he finally understands why, so we've got that. I do like how, though granted with the League of Villains, they're still not thoroughly trusting of Hawks, as he's like being constantly watched and all that stuff. Granted, I find the feather thing to like listening on like the villains a bit of a stretch, but okay. I guess he had to do it somehow. But yeah, so we got that. So I do like how Bakugo is annoyed about, hey, I came here to learn the number one hero, not be straddled with the sidekicks. But after Endeavor finds the message, it's clear that, okay, he sees the serious situation. He might not fully agree with training like students for this, because it's practically their planning a war against like an army of villains. But he'd do it for the time being, and he agrees to train all three. I do like how with he's able to actually understand Midoriya's ramblings. He's the first one to fully listen to what he has to say, and with and clearly having the reaction everyone has with Midoriya's ramblings. But Endeavor listens and says, "Okay, so I get what you need to do." And it's like, "You're not," and Burning's like, "You're not the number one for nothing." This is probably my favorite part of the episode, and all that stuff. Bakugo, he wants to learn. I like how Bakugo says he wants to learn what he can do and all that stuff. So there's that. But I do like how Shoto makes his points that, he talks about, well, he admits that he resented Endeavor, and while that may have like been problematic for him in the long run, he still hasn't really accepted him as a father and all that stuff. So he's coming here as a fledgling hero, not as a son. And then Endeavor realizes that, okay, he still hasn't yet to accept me. So I get that. We can still see the bits of the tense of their relationship and all that stuff. So we have that. So anyway, he decides to go teach. I like how he decides to go teach all3, and he ends up explaining what heroes end up doing with rescue, evacuation, and fighting, which I think we got a glimpse, but yeah, that's now officially confirmed and all that stuff. I do like the assignment he's given them. Is like, you have to catch up to a villain and catch them before I do. So, which seems to be a very difficult task because he's the number one hero. As we see, he's able to bend the flames when he's moving and all that stuff. So, and we see him easily catch a villain on a motorcycle. I mean, it's just next bit is just more of just him explaining about show examples about how student work and actual experience, the difference between them and all that stuff, as he saves a person from a truck, telling Bakugo that just because the winter thing, you have a disadvantage in winter because you don't get enough sweat. That's no excuse to because if you fail in real life, well, someone could end up dying and all that stuff. So I like that. I ends up explaining how not everyone was not everyone, well, despite having the skills and all that stuff, such a person driving, they don't learn it straight. They don't know it straight away, so they have to learn and all that stuff. Comparing it to how most skilled people have to learn in order to get to the top, though there are exceptions like the All Might, who just seem naturally skilled, though, as he thinks about his attempts to climb up to the top to him and all that stuff. So Midoriya thinks, and this allows Midoriya to think about how All Might's helped him got this far and all that stuff. So yeah, and the other thing I kind of like to see was the cameos of all the other heroes. So we get to see them train, get a glimpse of who they're training with. Like I said, Uraraka and Tsuyu. A few members of Class B have gone with the member of the Big Three. To the Dragon Lady again. Red Riot and Tetsu has taken Tetsu with him with the Sun Eater and Fat Gum. And all that stuff. And Mineta, for some reason, has gone back with Mount Lady. And Ida back with Manuel. So I'm a bit surprised with that with Ida because I thought he would probably try and find a more experienced hero. But I guess Koei figured, okay, this is someone Ida has a relationship. Let's just continue with that. So it's fine. I guess Ida wants to have a more proper experience this time with him. So we've got that. So it's nice that. And there's also I also forgot to mention how Hawks is glad that he got Tsukuyomi as his student and all that stuff, but he's now with his psychic because he can't properly teach him himself and all that stuff. So there's that. Overall, I'll give this episode a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Mostly because we got a brief bit of Hawks learning from the hero. Meeting with the League of Villains and the Metal Liberation Army. An update. The update of the attack in 4 months and all that stuff. Endeavor, finally decoding the message, and after decoding the message, he's going to train Midoriya, Bakugo, and Shoto, all 3 of them, even though he was only going to try and train Shoto. The motives of our trio, and why they're here with Endeavor and all that stuff, particularly Endeavor ability to understand Midoriya, and the task he gives them from you gotta try and beat me and try and capture a villain by the end of this winter assignment and all that stuff while they're here. and glimpses of the other heroes, witty other students working with like actual professional heroes as they're preparing for the upcoming conflict within 4 months. Anyway, I try to see. So yeah. Anyway, from what I can tell, the next episode is a filler episode where we return to that hero Seiki, and it looks like, from what we got from season 2, is Suyu with her initial internship thing, and this time Uraka's coming along with Dragon Lady and all that stuff. And well, it looks like let's see, it's a joint thing. It's most, for my guesses, since Uraka doesn't really do much in this arc, and let's see, since well, it's mostly focusing on Midoriya, Shoto, and Bakugo. Not to mention the Metal Liberation Army arc. None of the hero characters really show up in that, or the bits that they do show up have already been adapted really into previous episodes. So it seems like this filler episode is mostly give us some more Uraka and Suyu moments, since all that stuff. Since she is, those two are like our 2 main female characters, or my main female character, main supporting female character. So yeah, I'll try and do that quickly though. Probably not until like maybe tomorrow or the day after. But I'm Blue Star Saber, signing off. Plus Ultra. Thank you for joining me, and goodbye.